Finding honest, Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune into Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke in sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate-Shikoin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
You want to feel important. You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and that can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We felt that way too. I am Sergeant First Class David Crow from Farmington, Minnesota, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Minnesota Army National Guard soldiers. We are people just like you, and together we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit nationalguard.com/MN to find out more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clear tonight with a low of 63, then Tuesday sunshine with a high of 83. Celebrate the upcoming holiday weekend with a fantastic meal at an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant.
It's really hard for me. I'm sharing out, so I'll try.
Close to home and around the world.
Browser now.
List of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants at eatlocalminnesota.com.
We only got 5 minutes, so I don't know.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
All right.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, welcome. Hello? Hello?
I don't know if we can hear. Oh, yep. I can hear myself. Can you hear me?
Hello? Hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, he knew Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
That is right, Jaji. Hey, this portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Hey, today we have Dr. Stately on later today, and checking in. We haven't talked to the great doctor, but hey, I was listening to a show earlier on AM 950, the Matt McNeil show, the great Matt McNeil show, and somebody called in, Jalisa, and said that it was funny that Grand Casino Arena, or the X is going to be called the Grand Casino Arena.
Mind blown.
Yeah, right. And the first thing that was called about was like, are they going to put a casino there?
Oh, dear.
And they don't really know the process. I know we're opening a casino in Beloit, meaning the Ho-Chunk Nation.
Yep.
And it's taken 15 years to get it okayed by the government.
Right. Yeah, that's a process. I mean, that's, but wow. I mean, Jaji, you know, I'm a big sports fan, specifically a Minnesota sports fan, you know, and hey, my Ho-Chunk people, you know, we're over in Wisconsin, so I'm not, you know, I'm not opposed to them, but that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, the XL, that's to switch that over. Wow.
Yeah. And it's branding, you know, it's branding. They have, here, let her out. I think she wants to get out. I think it's branding. You know, they have that hotel down there, the old Radisson on Kellogg there, that big old hotel, meaning Grand Casino, the Mille Lacs, Ojibwe, and good on them. But it's, you know, it's more than just when people are putting their name on a sports stadium.
Right.
It's like advertising all the time. So that's what they're doing. I mean, there's no way they're going to. I just want to let our allies know out there that it's a huge process. I remember, I can't remember which tribe, but tribe bought some land out by Stillwater on Manning and 36. There was a big old empty lot there. And the first thing that people brought up was like, oh, it's a casino. They're going to have a casino there. And it's like, no, we can't willy-nilly put a casino wherever we want, or we'd already probably have one there.
Right. Exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, it's really cool just to see so many things, you know, the names come back to the original names, to the Lakota names here in Minnesota, you know, and other things. But then, yeah, on top of that, have great advertisement at such a massive level. I mean, the Xcel Energy Center, that is fantastic. And shout out to the Frost for, you know, back-to-back championships, the women's hockey team. I just had to say that.
Right on. No, I'm glad you said that. And it's huge. And how well is your the women's basketball team doing? Unbelievable.
Oh, right.
The
Lynx are, you know, they're number one, and they're going strong. Shout out to them. I'm going to try to catch a game very soon.
Take Wendy and I. We want to go.
Yes,
hey,
go.
I just want to give a quick shout out to our friend, State Representative Heather Keeler. She said hi here on Facebook Live, and Heather, we got to have you on soon, and
Yes.
we have to have you and Jalisa do a show together while I do a vacation. So we'll set that up really cool. But it's always good, and I appreciate you always saying hi.
Yes.
And seeing you around the community and in the Twin Cities, and it's just it's a huge deal. So you know, and Heather just said women in sports in Minnesota are outstanding. Go Lynx. Right on.
Yes. Go Lynx.
Yeah. So we got Dr. Stately on, and had a little mishap here in the beginning of the show, but you know, we're going on. We're professionals, right?
Oh, yes. And we roll with it. You know, there's, you can be as prepared as you can be in things that are live, and then things happen, and that's, you roll with it.
Yeah, thank you. I know in years past, or no, I should say weeks past, I would have a meltdown live on the radio, but now I'm better because you're here, Jalisa.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Mahinu. And I guess that could be a word for the day. Or, you know, what'd be cool is why don't you tell everybody your name? We do that every once in a while here. And I'll say mine is Wakunjahare, which means distant thunder, which I think is a great name, by the way.
Great name.
My uncle, my Dega, gave it to us.
That's right. Yes. I'm glad you asked. I've been trying to share my name as much as possible. It's so important to honor, you know, in my group that I lead, that's Native centric at where I counsel at, you know, I encourage all of my clients and coworkers to, if you know any of your native language, to speak it freely. So try to do that as often as possible. But yeah, my name is Chush Shep Wakahawinga, which means Holy Eagle Woman.
And it's a great name for you. That's really. And I feel like, you know, you talk about my grandson, which his name is Silas, but we like to call him Bobby here on the slide. But
well,
that
he's a Robert too.
Right. And that he's a spiritual, but I always feel like you are like in our immediate family. You're the spiritual one in our immediate family. And I always ask you to open up with a prayer whenever possible. So that's, I guess I'm just saying that's a great name for you.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. Silas definitely, his little spirit is just so alive already. And he's mimicking, you know, kind of pounding on the table and mimicking Jaji here. You all know him as Robert Pilot, but his choka. And so I see it already. He's just this sweetest little boy.
Yeah. And if you can say those two definitions of the two words that you just said for our listening audience, in Ho-Chunk, Choka and Jaji.
Yeah, so Jaji means dad or father in Ho-Chunk. And so you'll hear me say that every time I'm on the radio. That's the only way I refer to what you listeners know as Robert Pilot, the host and the founder of Native Roots Radio. I say Jaji, so that means dad or father. And then you know, you'll hear my Jaji here call me Hinu, which is firstborn daughter. I was born a minute earlier than my twin sister, so I get the Hinu. I get that, you know, I get that name. And then I'm sorry, you said Choka. Choka means grandfather.
Yeah, and also Weha is second daughter.
That's right. Shout out Jelaine.
All right. Hey, Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back with Dr. Stately. Stay with us. Oh, you were going to say that.
Hey.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time, and it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
I'll never forget. I was driving my Sienna from Rudy Luther Toyota, and I was hit at 35 miles an hour, rear-ended square flush. If not for the structural integrity of my Sienna, I wouldn't be here right now. There's a lot I can say about Rudy Luther Toyota, about their fantastic service department and their great selection, but being able to say your car saved my life is the best endorsement I can make. Toyotas from Rudy Luther Toyota are my highest recommendation. Get one today and tell them me, Matt McNeil, told you to stop on in. Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
Hey, this portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
Hey, we're waiting for Dr. Stately, and I know he's got a long trip back to his home, and he's in the Twin Cities, and he's heading back out. His sons, he has twins too. His sons are doing something in the Twin Cities, and so he's hopefully going to be jumping on here soon. But if he doesn't, I just want to talk about this real quick. Have you ever been to the Niagara Falls?
I have. So I took a road trip there and was able to see the U.S. side and the Canadian side. We were on the Canadian side. It was absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so I have a quick little update there. It says Niagara Falls will be illuminating in orange tonight, which was an hour ago. So this was brought up an hour ago from Indian DNA on Facebook. And it says Niagara Falls will be illuminated in orange tonight in honor the children who were never returned, the survivors, and all affected communities of residential schools. The internationally recognized Strongwater singers will be there performing along with the Niagara Parkway. So that's really, really interesting. And it's interesting that they're going to be able to illuminate it orange.
That's just beautiful. And what a great way to honor, in any way to get the word out, to get the message out, to honor those that have been lost. That's really moving.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we have in our bullpen, and I always like to say it's our bullpen, but we have Dr. Stately, and I'm going to add him to us. And
there we go.
And say a big who. Hey, Dr. Stately, how you doing?
Good. How are you? How are
Great
you all?
Great to see you. Gosh, today's is always Mondays have been a stressful day for you, and we really appreciate you being on. And I know, and we've missed you because so much has happened lately. We'd love to talk to you about.
Yeah, it's good to see you all. I'm sorry I haven't been available a whole lot over the last few weeks. June has been a crazy month.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I tried
graduation and a few other things, and yeah, just crazy.
Well, I tried to stop by and see you at the clinic, and my car fell in a big hole.
Oh wow! Is that what we buried? I don't know. I saw a bunch of buried on top of something.
Tell our listening audience what's happening. And I was at Maria's with a couple people, and you were right outside the door there, and I took a couple pictures, and really excited for the community and Native community clinic. Oh God, I'll get that right yet after.
I
10
just
years.
said this to somebody the other day. I said he's always calling my clinic NACD.
Oh no!
And I'm always calling NACD community clinic. So maybe we
NAC versus
Yeah.
NACD.
Yeah.
All great Native, organizations.
Yeah, it's because Robert and Pilot and I are like twins. We look alike. We sound alike.
You know who always used to say that was David Canoyer. He'd always go, people always think I'm you, and I'm going, oh my gosh, we don't even look alike.
You kind of have the same voice, I think. Maybe a little bit.
Well, I guess we
similar.
look alike when it's midnight and there's no lights on, right?
Well, all the Indians, they look alike, right?
Oh, wow.
It's true. Yeah, like in the darkness of a lodge, you sound like the same person.
Oh, good one. Good one. Well, yeah, tell our audience, because it's such exciting news, Dr. Stately, what's going on at the community clinic and the Native American Community Clinic in Minneapolis. I know it warms my heart, but there's also work to be done too. And I'd really love if you could couple times today be able to send out where people can send you some money.
Okay. Well, thanks. If hopefully there's a couple millionaires listening that just have, some spare cash laying around, because that would
I'm
be
rich in
helpful.
personality.
Yeah.
I
For a
don't
good
know.
cause. Good cause.
I don't think you're as rich as you think you are.
Hey, don't say that in front of my daughter here. This nepotism here. She'll get the right idea.
I'm just kidding. Totally wealthy. That's the one place you are really wealthy.
Oh, wait a minute.
Anyway,
Get the claws up.
so the big hole you're talking about is the big giant hole in front of our building, which used to be the parking lot, and it's like I've gotten really great comments about it. Like the preponderance of people are really happy that there's a big huge hole in front of our building that used to be the parking lot. I think the people that used to use the parking lot to do things like stop at the bank, come to Maria's, those kinds of things, they're not all that happy because they have to figure out other places to go and park at. And that's definitely not necessarily the greatest outcome of us breaking ground on our new building. But I will tell you that what is just, it's really remarkable. We had our groundbreaking ceremony. I think you came to that.
Yes.
It was this evening in late April, just filled with all kinds of really great, wonderful people who celebrated and supported our capital campaign and helping us get across the finish line to getting our new building, which is going to be 6 stories, the largest building on the American Indian Cultural Corridor.
Wow.
Not that I'm bragging, but I'm just saying that's a first. We are I think the new 2024 plan for the city of Minneapolis allows for developments up to 6 stories high, and we took advantage of that, and we said we're going to go all 6 stories. And so the first 2 floors of the new building will be a brand new expanded clinic, probably close to about twice the size of the current clinic. It'll have so our dental operation is going from 5 chairs to 12, so 150% growth there. Our medical clinic is going from 10 exam rooms to 18 exam rooms, and then a slight expansion of the behavioral health program, and then also bringing together all of the different programs that we operate under one roof for the most part. And I think one of the things I'm the most excited about is just the amount of work we've done with Sam Olbixson, who's our lead architect. He did the Indian Center. He's done Wakan Teepee. He's involved in a lot of the projects in and around Minneapolis, but all over the country. He and I have worked really hard together strategically with my staff and his and the construction team to really, with intention, center Indigenous language, culture, and our medicines, our spiritual practices. That is going to be reflected throughout the clinic. We, with intention, made a really intentional decision to put a lot of investment in paying respect and homage to the fact that this is Dakota territory and Dakota land. So we have some interpretation of the Bedote and the meaning of that Bedote in our lobby floor plan. And it's intended to be a space and place where you'll come and you'll be able to get some Western medical services, like your teeth fixed and your blood pressure checked, and Robert, you come annually, we'll kick all 4 of your tires.
Yeah.
Actually, just 3, because you're always 1 tire short, I think.
Well, I was really happy, and I thought of the clinic when I was at Pride, and we did a live broadcast at Queen City Pride, and I saw the big colon out there. Somebody had been rented the colon that you guys always have, and
wow,
had to walk through there one time and sing a little. Oh,
Were you like rubbing the nodules on the sides?
Shh. Yes, a little bit, but don't bring that up. We'll talk about that in the break.
Such a naughty boy. Anyway, I'm so disappointed that I forgot about Pride and coming to be with you on Pride Day. I literally forgot it was Pride. I'm like such a bad gay.
Yeah, I don't have a boo button, but I think you're right. Well, we'll make you come out to the fair and do a live show.
Yeah, I'll do that for sure. But
You
I
heard
was
that,
like,
Lisa.
I had a legit reason for not being at Pride Festival. It was actually our weekend for our summer camp too. So we had our 3rd annual men's summer camp for men in the community who want to spend time communing with each other, learning some traditional practices. We had a sweat lodge on both Friday and Saturday. We had traditional games that they played, traditional activities. They went fishing, then they ate the fish for dinner, and we did archery and canoeing, and we had ceremony every night, and it was just a really beautiful experience. So it was a lovely way to spend the weekend. And yeah, I'm sad that I wasn't able to be with my my Two-Spirit relatives at Gay Pride, but hopefully they don't take away my membership card and they give forgiveness. but I spent it with some really amazing people in this small gathering in Mound.
Well, and I saw with pictures, because we weren't there for the parade, I saw in pictures that there was a lot of people from Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition there marching in the parade, and I do believe that was the first time ever that they were in the parade.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing too.
Yeah.
I love that, I've lived in a lot of other places. I've lived in Los Angeles. I've been to Los Angeles' Gay Pride. I've been to San Francisco's Gay Pride. I've been to New York's Gay Pride. And there's an indigenous footprint in those gay prides as well. But ours is so much more visible, I think, because of the number of Two-Spirit people that attend our Pride Festival and our Pride Parade every year. So.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we're with Dr. Stately here, and we're going to make him come back because we miss him, and it's a great conversation. So, hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Oh.
Boldly Challenging Ableism is here to go where some people won't. I'm Katrina Simons, and every week I'm digging into the real impact of ableism, breaking down myths, calling out barriers, and pushing for a world where disabled people belong in every space. With my work at the University of Minnesota's Institute on Community Integration and a lifetime of lived experience, I'm diving into everything from employment and housing to justice and culture. And yeah, I bring some humor and heart along the way. Catch us Sundays at 2 p.m. right here on AM 950, or listen anytime by finding Boldly Challenging Ableism on YouTube or your favorite podcast app.
This is Mitch, owner of Junk Masters. Feeling overwhelmed by clutter? Spring's the perfect time to reclaim your space and peace of mind. Renting a dumpster is costly, and it all ends up in the landfill. Just show us what goes. We give usable items a second life by donating them. No calling all over town trying to figure out who takes what. We do the legwork for you. Easy, cost-effective, and local. There's no obligation. Visit junkmastersmn.com today.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Rest. June is here, which means you might be having a graduation party at your house soon. Summer also means sleepovers. Your kids are going to be at the playground, at the water park, at the beach. There's going to be a lot of mess coming into the house over the summer, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Rest to make sure your home is in order for the summer. And since June is here, it's time to take advantage of Zero Rest's best deal of the summer. Zero Rest can take care of any surface in your home or business, including carpet, tile, hardwood, rugs, upholstery, and air ducts. This month, take 20% off all services when you call my friends at Zero Res 9520 Res or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com. Just tell them you want the AM 950 special. Their prompt, courteous team will come out and take care of you. Again, that's 20% off all services this month. Go to ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 9520 Res and ask for the AM 950 special. Zero Res, backward or forward, spells the same.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is having their annual sale for the entire month of July. All of their indoor and outdoor fireplace products and accessories are at the lowest price of the year.
Did you know that now there's also a 30% federal tax credit when you install an efficient wood heating stove or fireplace? At Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we can explain and show you the many options. We have the Twin Cities' widest selection of wood-burning stoves and fireplaces.
I love my wood stove. We enjoy the sense of well-being we get by cutting and splitting wood to warm our home. Wood is our choice, but you may have other choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether transforming an existing fireplace or adding something new, a clean burning wood, gas, or electric fire can have you sitting pretty and cozy by the fire.
Visit Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces at Riverside and East Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis or at woodlandstoves.com. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, since 1977, out of the ordinary products and services to make firework for you.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clear tonight with a low of 63, then Tuesday sunshine with a high of 83. Celebrate the upcoming holiday weekend with a fantastic meal at an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant. They're perfect for any occasion and feature flavors from close to home and around the world. Visit the list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants at eatlocalminnesota.com.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Trading Posts. Shop now at cause-cart.shop and search for Native Roots to find your resist gear. Pinigigi, everyone, for all your support.
Absolutely. And so many people were asking about that, Jalisa, the resist shirt out there that we were all
The
wearing.
colorful one?
Yes,
rainbow.
Exactly. Thank you. And Robert Lilligren, who pinch hitted for Dr. Stately, was there, and he had his on, and Jace Rowe didn't have one on, but we owe him one, and it was a great show. One of the things that they brought up, Dr. Stately, was a really interesting comment, and you and Robert Lilligren have been in this, I don't want to say fight, but the struggle of who you are and be able to come out, and especially years ago when things weren't said right or correctly to our Two-Spirit group. But the people now, our young ones now, are really loud and proud, and it's an amazing thing to see these last, at least for me, these last 60 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, I wanted to just make everybody in the audience understand me and Robert Lilligren are not fighting.
Yeah. I know. At first when you said that,
the way you phrased that, I was like, "We're fighting? Are we really?" I didn't know that we were.
I'm so glad you said that, because I kind of chuckled thinking he was about to make a joke. And then I'm like, oh, don't smile. He's saying something serious. This is real.
No, they're not. They're not fighting. And thank goodness Jalisa's here. And thank you for catching that, Dr. Stately.
Yeah.
Hey, is this a live? Can we start over?
Yeah.
I want to start over.
Although, I think I could take them if I had to. If I really had to.
Yeah.
But no, as you kept going, I realized what it was. It was just funny because for those that are watching, you can see me smile. But for our listeners, I was smiling, and then I went, "Oh, wait, no! Now I hear what he's saying." That was profound.
So
hopefully, I think we came from an era, a period in time when it wasn't really easy to be out of the closet and to be open about our sexuality. And although I will honestly tell you, I have said this multiple times. I've said this to my own kids even. I've said this to a lot of people. I don't think that I was ever in the closet. I think there wasn't even a closet large enough for me, maybe perhaps. I kind of came out of the chute, sort of the way I am. And there was never, I don't think I ever, I mean, I certainly had moments in my life when I was much younger, when I was really young, where I just thought like, oh God, it would be so great if I could just, somehow, meet a girl that, was like a guy. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, now I actually have a lot of friends who are girls like who are guys. But
Yep.
I would say, but I would say, I would think to myself like, oh God, if I could just get this, if I could have this, or there were times when I was in boarding school, growing up in a Catholic boarding school, where I just was like, I would lay in bed at night, praying like I would like somehow like, I would wake up the next morning and there would be a female. Not that I wanted to be transgender or ever had that feeling like I wanted to be, but I definitely understood generally, like in the late 60s, early 70s, that it wasn't cool to be gay. It wasn't something you talked about. And actually, quite frankly, like I was like probably 18, 19 years old before I ever like learned about what it meant to be gay. Like I didn't have a word for it when I was a kid, and I didn't have a word for it when I was a teenager. But it was clear to me that it wasn't something that was really all that great. And even in our own community, I met Two-Spirit people in the community throughout my adolescence that were, I would say mentors or, people who supported me, like, made me feel comfortable in my skin, made me feel like I was important. Some of those people have passed on. One of them that was really, really, he was an amazing leader in our community too. He was a namer and he practiced funerary rites for the last band of Ojibwe, Lee Staples, a really close friend to my mom. Like I was a young man when I met him, and he made me feel comfortable in my own skin, which was really critically important at that point in my life. But it was a challenge to be able to navigate that space for sure.
Yeah, and as a former educator and being in the community, not that our young ones have it easier, but they know who they are and they're able to, to speak up, and that's something that I've really enjoyed tremendously to see the change, the switch, and especially I don't know if we're in a bubble here in the Twin Cities in Minnesota here because we are very liberal here, and I know that's not always in accepting. Thank you, and I know that's not always the case, even with our own people. So Dr. Sately, I feel like we always have to talk about, good things here on Native Roots Radio. And that's kind of the vibe that I've gotten over the years by our younger people are more fluid.
I would say when I was young, it was really my own community that treated me the worst, of course, right? Around that, I think, but that was also late 60s, early 70s, where like as a society, we're really struggling with this idea of like, homosexuality or gayness too, right? And so there was moments, I think, probably between the time I was like maybe 13, 14 years old when I sort of started coming out a little bit more. I was in high school. I know I didn't even get the opportunity to tell my mother that I was gay. My sister, who was a lesbian, her girlfriend told my mother. For me, and then that was that was a really hurtful experience because it robbed me from having the opportunity to have that me be the one to have that conversation with my mother, right? And her and I never got around to having a conversation about like what would make you think that it was okay to say that information about me. But it was a challenging period of time because it was I turned 16 in 1978. I was in my last year of high school. There were other things that were going on in high school at that time. Like high school is hard enough, right?
Right.
It's like, it's like just a popularity contest, and I think somebody should actually do this. I'm going to put this shout out right now to Rihanna Yazzie. Like we should do an Indigenous version of Mean Girls because that's what it felt like when I was in high school. But can you just imagine,
Yes.
like what that would look like? That would be really kind of cool, actually.
Write that down,
Great
Jalisa. That's
suggestion.
steal that idea, but don't
I was
tell
just
them.
emailing with
Just steal all my ideas. Go ahead. I don't
I was
care.
just emailing with new
Your
native.
dad does it all the time, actually.
Yeah, I have a hat for you I made too. I'll have to get to you when I see you for community clinic. We're revving up the hats here at Native Roots Trading Post, so I'm gonna
Nice.
get you one there. I know you don't wear hats, do you?
I'm not really a hat wearer. I wore them a lot when I was much younger. When I lived in Los Angeles and everybody thought I was a Mexican, I just wore backwards hats all the time.
Oh, cool.
I was like, I'll just blend in. I'll blend in.
Wanda's in here now, too.
Wanda's excited about that.
Wow. Oh, that's your actual dog, not a button you're pushing. I got it.
Yes.
We should get a.
I thought you were giving me like the gay wolf. The woof, woof, woof.
I got a button right here. I think that's a ripoff of the Twilight Zone, but I'm not sure.
I think maybe, possibly.
Well, Dr. Stately, I would like to talk to you a little longer if you have the capacity. I know we're going to break here soon.
Sure,
and,
sure.
We haven't talked in such a long time. Yeah, and it's just things that are going on now are just crazy. And there's so much misinformation, and people are paralyzed because they don't know if they should take a left or a right, or is this coming down in 2026 or tomorrow? And then of course we joked about you living in California, but we have our issues here with our undocumented that just breaks my heart.
Yeah, it has been a crazy month, the month of June. I'm ready for it to be over, so I'm glad it's the last day. But I will tell you, like, that shooting of Representative Portman and her husband, and of course, Senator Hoffman, who and his wife, who also was shot. That whole thing was just like horrifying. I remember waking up 2 Saturdays ago and just thinking, like, what in the hell is going on? And I was in shock. I want to take the moment now to acknowledge that Senator Hartman was a tremendous friend and supporter of our Indigenous communities across Twin Cities and across Minnesota. I don't think that our project would have been able to be as successfully, in the place where it is without her support and a lot of the other House representatives that sort of like championed that bill that got us our initial award to buy the building, and then the 4.5 to support the expansion. So
let's talk a little bit more about that.
I'm gonna miss her. I think she's amazing.
Yes. Good words.
Let's talk a little bit more about that in the next segment. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're going to be right back with Dr. Stately and Jalisa Mckee and Wanda. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
My favorite person.
With us.
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Rudy Luther Toyota is the dealer you can trust. Go to rudyluthertoyota.com to browse their inventory of new and certified pre-owned vehicles. Style, performance, and reliability. You can find it all at Rudy Luther. With every new and certified pre-owned vehicle, you'll get a Luther Advantage card, save 10 cents per gallon at the pump, and get $6 Works car washes at holiday station stores. That's right. You can get a great vehicle and help stretch your budget even further. Rudy Luther Toyota, the southeast corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune into Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month. right here on AM 950. What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke in sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate-Shikoin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
Hi, this is Governor Walls. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
In this portion of the show, we'd like to bring awareness to our Minnesota wolf population. Say no to the hunts.
No. Hey, we have Dr. State Leon, Native American Community Clinic CEO, and our great friend here at Native Roots Radio, trying to figure out. We were talking to the guy you were fighting with, Robert Lilligren, and how many years he's been on. But you've been on just as long. I think you've been on like 6 years.
6 years, yeah, since.
And this is our 9th year.
2019, I think.
Yeah, and
or 2020, I think.
But when we transitioned to 5 days a week, you were one of the main reasons why we could do that, because we had a great 2-hour show, but I don't know how many people listened to it because it was 2 hours long, and I had 8 guests on every week, including you.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, this was a great show, so let's stretch it out here 5 days and give a little bit. So you're an important part, not only of our family, but of Native Roots Radio. And I really appreciate you whenever you can come on. And I know there's times that your family has to take precedence, and that's the way it is. And we appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate being part of the Native Roots radio family. It's been a privilege and an honor. And, I do actually really love being here and spending time with you and Wendy and your cat that used to like
Lucy.
Yeah,
rest in peace, Lucy.
I know Lucy.
Every time we did the sacred animal portion of the show, Lucy would bust through the door of the old studio and start meowing. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
I miss her.
Dr. Stately did a great impersonation too there.
Yeah. Well, I want to. We kind of rushed you along because we were going to break, but I really would love you to repeat Representative Hortman and former
Speaker of the
House and her family, how important that connection was, because I saw videos too of how she supported Red Lake College and all these things. And just a champion of us.
She was just a really wonderful person. I think what was the most hurtful was that she, I listened to the day, literally the day before she was murdered, she voted with the Republicans to, she was a woman of integrity, a woman of just tremendous, she just had she has amazing values, right? She was a woman and a leader and a legislator who lived her values. If she said she was going to do something, she'd do it. Right. And she, the day before she was murdered, her and her husband were murdered, she voted, she gave her vote to that bill that took away the Medicaid rights to people who were undocumented. Right? And these are people that my clinic sometimes serve, and a lot of the partners who are there at federally qualified healthcare centers in Minneapolis and throughout Minnesota that serve a large proportion of people who are uninsured and undocumented, and we'll get harmed by that significantly because of that. Not just our businesses, but who's harmed in the end is those individuals and their families and their children, right? And the communities that they live in, they have to carry that burden when they're harmed. right?
Mhm.
And so it's just like, but to me, it was really, really. I mean, I was really emotionally devastated on the morning when I woke up and heard the news that she had been shot and killed.
Yeah.
Assassinated, I think, is the word we should be using because it was a political
Exactly.
assassination. And I think the thing that is just really challenging for me in that whole conversation was that she was a really good person, right?
Yeah.
And she worked across the aisle,
Mhm.
right? And she worked, if she said something, you could count on her word. And I think, and I've worked with a lot of, I've worked with some Republican folks over the last couple of years in campaigning for our and advocating for our capital campaign and trying to get more resources into the community for opiate use disorder. I have Senator Baker who's on the ORAC committee with me. We have a good relationship, and I can count on him to be faithful to his word, and to practice his principles and his values. So I think like the thing that's the most disturbing to me is that, these are people I have had, Melissa and many of her colleagues in the legislature, whether they're in the Senate or in the Republican, in the representative chamber. These are people I've worked with for the last 4 or 5 years. And I
Mhm.
have tremendous deep respect for them. And I literally Saturday morning, I watched the live
Yeah.
feed
Funeral.
for the funeral. I listened to the eulogies, and the one that hurt the most was her son's eulogy.
Mm.
Very, very short, very, very short. He, read something about his mother, and I was like, this man. I was 25 years old when I lost my mother. I didn't lose her in a murder or an assassination, but it was life changing for me to lose my mother at 25.
Mm.
This man's only a few years older than I was at that time, and it took me a really long time, a good 5 to 10 years, to sort of kind of figure out my life and kind of figure out how to move forward without a mother.
Mm.
Feeling like an orphan.
Yeah.
25, 28, 30 years old, 35 years
Yeah.
old, feeling like an orphan, not tethered to the earth. It was really a really challenging time for me. And so
Yeah.
I have a lot of empathy and compassion for the family. And I just, and who loses in the end is every Minnesotan loses in the end, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Every single one does.
Well, if you could explain a little deeper to our listening audience, especially we have a big audience in Wisconsin too, about why she voted that way and what she had done and promised earlier on and during these negotiations.
Yeah, the House and the Senate in Minnesota have been very, very tight for a really long period of time. After the 2024 elections, there was basically a tie between the Republican and the representative chamber. Same number of Republican seats as Democrat, and she had worked really hard to build a relationship and to work really hard with her Republican colleague. She gave up the speakership and she rescinded that and gave it, without a tremendous amount of fight. And she agreed to she moved things along because she was agreeable. She recognized that there was the only path was to sort of like collaborate and be a partner, right?
Right.
And she recognized that, and she knows that from years. She knew that from years and years and years of doing that work within the community and being a legislator. I think she's been a legislator for 20 years or something.
Yeah.
Like that. A good portion of her life. That's a really long period of time. That, and parenthetically, people are always asking me like, "Hey, you should run for." I'm like, that sounds like a thankless job.
Yeah.
That sounds really, really hard, and I don't know that I have the skin and the constitution for that. I'd get angry and maybe swear at somebody, but but she was a really amazing person who did, like, you could count on what she said. You could count on
Yes.
her, and so she gave up. She agreed to vote with the Republicans to take that right away from that bill. And it was hard for her. She cried the day she did
Yes,
it.
she did.
Yes.
Yes, she did.
Yep.
Dr. Stately, thank you so much. A big peeny gigi for being on as always. We've missed you, and I'm glad we could have you on today and listen to the great knowledge and your experience and more about the clinic. Thank you so much. Hey, this has been Native Roots Radio. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. If you are listening to the show, you are part of the resistance.
That's right.
From Chief Plenty Coops, the ground on which we stand on. It's sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.